When Allah brings you to a moment like this, it is not by accident. You did not randomly stop here. You did not randomly listen this far. There are thousands of videos you could have scrolled past, but something inside you told you to stay. That feeling is not random. That feeling is your heart responding to something Allah already knows about you. Listen carefully. If your life feels like it suddenly entered a storm, this message is not for everyone. It is for the one who has been asking Allah questions in silence. The one who looks fine on the outside, but feels exhausted inside. The one who keeps saying, "I trust Allah," even when the heart feels tired. Allah sees that struggle. The storm you are in did not come to destroy you. It came because staying where you were would have destroyed you. Allah does not move people without purpose. He does not shake lives without wisdom. And He does not allow pain unless it is carrying something greater than comfort ever could. You may feel like everything became unstable at once. Relationships changed. Plans collapsed. Peace disappeared. And you asked yourself, why now? Why all at once? But storms do not arrive slowly. They arrive suddenly because they are meant to move you quickly. Allah is not delaying your life. He is redirecting it. Do not leave yet, because what comes next is important. The storm is not proof that Allah left you. It is proof that He is close enough to guide you through something most people could not survive. Allah does not test weak hearts with heavy waves. He tests hearts that can grow deeper. Right now, you may feel like you are losing control. But control was never yours to begin with. The ocean does not ask the ship where it wants to go. The ship survives by trusting the one who controls the sea. And Allah controls every wave touching your life right now, even the ones that scare you. If you feel tired, it does not mean you are failing. It means you are human. Even the strongest believers felt fear when the storm rose. Strength is not calmness. Strength is staying connected to Allah when calmness disappears. And you are still here, still listening. That alone says something about your faith. You think the storm is taking things away from you, but Allah only removes what cannot travel to where He is taking you. Some attachments cannot survive elevation. Some people cannot survive growth. And some versions of you had to be left behind so a stronger one could emerge. Stay with this thought, because the storm is not endless. It never is. But the version of you that comes out of it will never be the same. Allah is not shaping you for survival. He is shaping you for responsibility, for impact, for something that requires depth, patience, and complete reliance on Him. If your heart feels heavy right now, know this: Allah is closer to you in the storm than He ever was in comfort. Comfort distracts. Storms focus. And right now, Allah has your full attention, not because He wants your fear, but because He wants your trust. Do not rush this moment. Do not scroll away thinking this was just another video. If this is touching something inside you, that is not coincidence. That is recognition. Allah knows where you are. He knows what broke you. He knows what you are holding together quietly. And He knows exactly when to change the direction of your life. The storm did not come to drown you. It came to carry you. And when it passes, you will understand why calmness could never have taken you where Allah is taking you now. The storm may feel endless right now, but listen closely. Storms are never permanent. They arrive with force, they make noise, they demand attention, and then they leave. What remains is change. What remains is clarity. What remains is a version of you that could not have existed without this moment. Allah does not keep His servants in pain longer than necessary. He keeps them there only as long as growth requires. You may be wondering why Allah chose this way. Why not a gentle path? Why not an easy transition? Because ease does not teach reliance. Ease does not strip the ego. Ease does not bring the heart fully back to Allah. Storms do. When everything else is shaken away, what remains is truth. And the truth is that Allah is the only constant you have ever had. Right now, you might feel like your prayers are unanswered, but unanswered does not mean ignored. A seed buried in the ground looks forgotten, yet it is in the most critical stage of its growth. If it were exposed too early, it would die. Allah hides some processes because exposure would destroy them. Your growth is happening where people cannot see it, but Allah can. Stay with me for a moment longer, because this part matters. The storm is not just about you. It is about what Allah plans to do through you. Some blessings require a version of you that is calmer, humbler, more patient, more aware of Allah than ever before. And that version is only shaped under pressure. You may feel alone in this storm, but you are not unsupported. Allah sends help in ways you may not recognize at first. Sometimes help comes as distance from what distracted you. Sometimes help comes as silence that forces reflection. Sometimes help comes as pain that redirects your entire path. Not all help feels gentle, but all of it is mercy. If you feel like crying right now, let it happen. Tears are not weakness. They are release. Even the strongest believers cried when the weight became heavy. Allah does not ask you to be emotionless. He asks you to be connected, and crying to Him is connection. There is a reason this storm feels personal, because it is personal. Allah deals with His servants individually. He knows what you can handle, even when you think you cannot. He knows exactly how far to push without breaking you. And if you are still standing, still breathing, still listening, then you are not broken. The storm is teaching you something you could not learn in calm waters. How to let go. How to stop controlling outcomes. How to trust timing you do not understand. How to believe without reassurance. These lessons do not feel good while they are happening, but they change everything afterward. Do not underestimate what Allah is building inside you right now. You may not see progress, but progress does not always look like movement. Sometimes it looks like endurance. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like surviving another day with faith still intact. That is progress. And when the storm finally calms, because it will, you will notice something different. You will notice that the things that once scared you no longer have the same power. You will notice that your heart is steadier. Your reliance is deeper. Your connection to Allah is stronger. And you will realize that you were never drowning. You were learning how to float without holding on to anything except Allah. Stay patient. Stay connected. Stay open. This storm is not the end of your story. It is the chapter that makes the rest of the story possible. And there is something else you need to understand, something many people miss while they are inside the storm. Allah is not only shaping you, He is rearranging everything around you at the same time. While you feel stuck, unseen forces are moving. While you feel delayed, other paths are being closed for your protection. While you feel uncertain, Allah is aligning moments, people, and outcomes in ways you cannot yet see. You may feel like you lost time, like life moved forward while you were struggling just to breathe. But no time spent growing closer to Allah is ever lost. The storm slows you down so your soul can catch up with where Allah wants to take you. Rushing forward with a wounded heart would only cause more pain. Allah heals before He elevates. He stabilizes before He advances. If you feel confused, that confusion is not failure. It is transition. Confusion happens when the old way no longer fits, but the new way has not fully appeared yet. You are between shores, and the ocean between them is uncomfortable, but necessary. Allah does not rush transitions because rushed hearts break easily. Right now, you may be questioning yourself, your decisions, your worth, your strength. But storms expose doubts so they can be replaced with certainty. Allah is not offended by your questions. He is drawing you closer through them. Every sincere question asked in hardship becomes a doorway to deeper understanding. Listen carefully to this part. The storm is not asking you to be strong. It is asking you to be honest. Honest about your limits, honest about your fears, honest about your need for Allah. Strength built on honesty lasts. Strength built on pretending collapses. You do not need to impress Allah during this season. You do not need perfect words, perfect patience, or perfect faith. You only need sincerity. Turn to Him even when your heart feels messy, especially then. Allah meets His servants where they truly are, not where they pretend to be. Some days the storm will feel quiet. Other days it will feel overwhelming again. This does not mean you are going backward. Healing is not linear. Growth does not move in straight lines. Allah allows waves to come and go so you learn balance, not control. And one day, without warning, you will notice that the storm no longer scares you the way it used to. The waves will still rise, but your heart will not panic the same way. That is how you know change has already happened. Not when life becomes easy, but when difficulty no longer removes your trust. When that day comes, you will understand something deeply. Allah did not rescue you from the storm. He carried you through it. And that difference matters. Because what carries you through becomes part of who you are. Until then, breathe. Hold on. Speak to Allah, even if all you can say is His name. That is enough. He hears you. He has always heard you, and He has never let go of you. Not for a single moment. There is a quiet strength being formed inside you right now, even if you cannot feel it yet. Strength does not always announce itself. Sometimes it grows silently, beneath exhaustion, beneath confusion, beneath nights where you question everything. Allah builds the strongest hearts in places where no one else is watching. You may feel like you are carrying more than others, like life has asked too much from you too quickly. But Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. If this weight is on you, it is because Allah knows there is capacity within you that you have not yet discovered. The storm is not revealing your weakness. It is revealing your depth. Right now it may feel like your old life is gone and the new one has not arrived yet. This space in between can feel empty, uncomfortable, even frightening. But this space is sacred. It is where transformation happens. It is where Allah rewrites direction without distractions. Do not rush to fill the silence. Let Allah speak in it. Sometimes the storm strips away what you thought defined you: titles, roles, plans, expectations. And when those things fall apart, you are forced to face who you really are without them. That is not loss. That is clarity. Allah removes false foundations so He can build something real. You may notice that you are changing. Things that once excited you no longer do. Conversations that once felt meaningful now feel empty. This is not disinterest. This is elevation. Allah is adjusting your heart to match where He is taking you. Not everyone and not everything can come with you. If you feel misunderstood right now, know this: clarity often arrives before explanation. Others may not understand what Allah is doing in you, and they do not need to. This journey is not about approval. It is about alignment. When Allah aligns your heart, the right understanding follows later. The storm is also teaching you how to rest. Not rest from effort, but rest from anxiety, rest from overthinking, rest from trying to control what was never yours to control. Trust is learned when control is removed. And once trust settles in your heart, peace begins to grow even before circumstances change. Do not be afraid if you feel slower than before. Slowness is not stagnation. Sometimes Allah slows your pace so your soul can heal properly. Fast movement with an injured heart only creates deeper wounds. Allah is gentle even when the process feels hard. One day you will notice that you no longer beg Allah to take the storm away the way you used to. Instead, you will ask Him to guide you through it with wisdom. That shift is growth. That is the moment faith matures. When you stop asking only for escape and start asking for understanding. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are not forgotten. You are being shaped intentionally, carefully, lovingly. Allah is closer to you now than you were in your easiest days. He is listening not just to your words, but to what your heart cannot even express. Stay present. Stay sincere. Stay connected. This storm has a destination, even if you cannot see it yet. And when you finally arrive, you will realize that Allah did not just change your circumstances, He changed you. And that change will carry you further than comfort ever could. And as you continue through this storm, something subtle begins to happen. You start noticing how your heart turns to Allah more naturally than before. Not only when things fall apart, but even in the quiet moments. That is not coincidence. That is closeness being built. Storms strip away distractions, so the heart remembers where it truly belongs. You may still have moments where fear returns, moments where doubt whispers that this will never end. That is normal. Faith does not mean the absence of fear. Faith means choosing Allah even when fear is present. Every time you choose Him again, even quietly, even imperfectly, something inside you strengthens. There will be days when you feel tired of being strong, days when you just want things to make sense. Allah knows those days. He knows the weight you carry when no one checks on you. He knows the prayers you stop halfway because words fail you. And He accepts even the prayers that are nothing more than silence and tears. Do not think for a moment that this storm has pushed you backward. Sometimes progress looks like standing still while everything inside you is rearranged. Allah works from the inside out. He changes the heart before He changes the situation. Because a healed heart can handle blessings that a wounded heart could not. You may notice that you are becoming more selective with your energy, more protective of your peace, less willing to explain yourself. That is not hardness. That is wisdom. Allah is teaching you boundaries through experience, not theory. And those boundaries will protect what He is growing within you. The storm also teaches you humility. It reminds you that strength comes from Allah alone, that reliance on Him is not weakness, but freedom. When you stop trying to carry everything yourself, you make room for divine help. And Allah's help arrives in ways far more precise than human effort ever could. Even now, as you listen, there is something settling inside you, a quiet recognition, a sense that you are not alone in this. That is not imagination. That is reassurance. Allah sends calm in small portions so it does not overwhelm the heart. Enough to breathe, enough to continue. One day you will speak about this season not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Not because it was easy, but because it changed you. You will see how the storm protected you from paths that would have harmed you, how it slowed you down before you lost yourself completely, how it guided you back to Allah when you were drifting. Until that day comes, take this moment as it is. You do not need all the answers right now. You do not need to see the full picture. You only need to take the next step with trust. Allah does not reveal the entire road at once. He reveals just enough light for the next step, and that is mercy. Remain patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Healing takes time. Real transformation is never rushed. And Allah is never careless with His servants. Every delay, every wave, every moment of uncertainty is measured with wisdom. The storm will pass, but what it gives you will remain. A deeper heart, a steadier faith, a connection with Allah that comfort alone could never have created. And when calm finally returns, you will know that you were not pushed into the storm to be lost. You were pushed into it to be found. And even now, as the storm continues, Allah is teaching you something quietly but powerfully. How to stand without needing everything to be certain. Before this, maybe you needed reassurance to feel okay. You needed signs. You needed things to go your way to feel at peace. But now, peace is slowly learning to exist even without answers. That is not something you taught yourself. That is something Allah is placing into your heart. You may notice that your relationship with Allah feels different than it used to, less rushed, less transactional, less about asking, and more about sitting with Him. That shift matters. Because Allah does not want to be known only in moments of desperation. He wants to be known in presence, in awareness, in quiet trust. And the storm is opening that door. There will be moments when you look around and feel behind compared to others, like everyone else is moving forward while you are still navigating waves. Do not measure your journey by someone else's shoreline. Allah writes paths individually. Some people are rushed forward. Others are prepared deeply. Depth takes time, and depth is what lasts. You are learning now that not every answer comes immediately, and not every problem needs to be solved right away. Some things unfold only when the heart is ready to receive them. Allah protects you from understanding too early what would overwhelm you. Clarity is given in portions, just like strength. If you feel moments of calm suddenly appear in the middle of difficulty, hold on to them gently. Those moments are reminders. Proof that peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of Allah within them. Even a small moment of calm is enough to carry you further than panic ever could. You may also notice that your patience looks different now. It is quieter, less dramatic, less forced. It is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about accepting what is while trusting what will be. That kind of patience is rare, and it is formed only through experience. Do not be surprised if old fears resurface from time to time. Healing does not erase memory. It changes how memory affects you. The storm revisits certain waves so you can see that they no longer have the same power. Each return is a reminder of growth, not failure. Allah is also teaching you how to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. In the storm, distractions fall away. What remains is awareness. You begin to sense what drains you and what restores you. You begin to recognize when your soul needs rest and when it needs movement. This awareness will guide you long after the storm ends. And one day, without ceremony, without announcement, you will realize that you are no longer asking the same questions you once did, not because you received every answer, but because you no longer need them the same way. Trust has replaced urgency. Acceptance has replaced resistance. Until then, stay where you are for this moment. Breathe through it. Let Allah carry what you cannot. You were not brought into this storm to be overwhelmed. You were brought here to be reshaped. And every moment you remain connected, every moment you choose trust over fear, the storm loses its power over you. You are still here, still listening, still holding on. And that means the storm has not won.
It never was meant to.
And now, as time passes within this storm, you may start noticing that your reactions are changing. Things that once would have completely shaken you now only slow you down for a moment. This does not mean the pain disappeared. It means your heart is learning stability. Allah is training your soul to remain upright even when the ground moves. You might still wake up some days feeling heavy, unsure, or unmotivated. Do not judge yourself for that. Healing is not about waking up strong every day. It is about not giving up on Allah, even on the days you feel weak. Those days matter just as much, especially those days. Allah is also teaching you discernment through this storm. You are learning who truly adds peace to your life and who only adds noise. You are learning which thoughts bring you closer to Allah and which ones pull you into fear. This awareness is not accidental. It is a skill you will need in the next chapter of your life. There may be moments when you feel the urge to rush ahead, to escape this phase as quickly as possible. But rushing is how lessons repeat. Allah slows you down so you can carry wisdom forward instead of wounds. What you learn here will protect you later. You are also being shown how temporary many things truly are. Circumstances change, feelings shift, people come and go, but Allah remains constant. When that realization settles in the heart, attachment loosens, fear softens, and trust deepens. This is one of the quiet gifts of the storm. Sometimes you might feel like no one truly understands what you are going through. That sense of isolation can be painful. But it also creates space for a deeper connection with Allah. When human comfort feels limited, divine comfort becomes clearer. Allah draws closer when other supports fall away. Pay attention to how you speak to yourself during this time. The storm amplifies inner dialogue. Replace harshness with patience. Replace blame with compassion. Allah does not speak to you with cruelty, so do not speak to yourself that way either. Growth requires kindness toward the self Allah is shaping. You may also notice that your priorities are shifting. Things that once felt urgent now feel unimportant, and things you once ignored now feel essential. This is alignment happening quietly. Allah is adjusting your focus so your energy is spent where it truly matters. The storm is also preparing you to carry responsibility. Not just responsibility for outcomes, but responsibility for intention. You are learning to act without attachment to results, to do what is right and leave the rest to Allah. This is freedom. This is maturity. There will be moments when you look back and realize how much you have already survived. Let those moments remind you of what Allah has already carried you through. Past survival is evidence of present strength, and present strength is proof that Allah is still with you. Even now, as you continue listening, there is a steadiness forming, a sense that you do not need to rush your life, that you are allowed to move at the pace Allah sets. That realization alone can calm storms within storms. This phase is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to who you were meant to be before the world taught you fear. Allah is peeling away layers that do not belong. What remains will feel simpler, truer, lighter. Stay here for a little longer. Let the words settle. Let your breathing slow. You do not need to solve everything tonight. You only need to stay connected. Allah is not asking you for perfection. He is asking you for presence. And presence is something you are already giving. The storm will not last forever. Nothing Allah allows is permanent except what benefits you. One day you will wake up and realize that the heaviness has softened. Not vanished completely, but softened enough for you to breathe again. Enough for you to see a little further ahead. Enough to trust without forcing yourself to. When that moment comes, you will understand that Allah was not punishing you. He was protecting you from becoming someone you were never meant to be. He was guiding you away from paths that looked safe, but would have emptied you. He was teaching you how to stand firmly without leaning on anything that could collapse. You will look back at this storm with different eyes. You will remember how lost you felt, how uncertain everything seemed. And you will realize that this was the moment your heart changed direction. This was where your faith became quieter, but stronger. Where your reliance became deeper and more sincere. Allah never brings His servants into storms without already knowing how they will come out. He knew you would survive this before it ever began. He knew your heart could grow wider, softer, stronger. He knew you would learn to trust Him not just when life made sense, but when it didn't. So if you are still here, still listening, still holding on, take that as reassurance. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are exactly where Allah intends you to be right now. Even this moment has meaning. Let the storm pass at its own pace. Let Allah finish what He started. Do not rush the calm. When it comes, it will come with clarity, with peace, and with a version of you that no longer fears the waves the same way. You were not pushed into the storm to be broken. You were pushed into it to be shaped, to be strengthened, and to be guided closer to Allah than ever before. And when the waters finally settle, you will see that you were never drowning. You were being carried the entire time. If this message resonated with your heart, take a quiet moment and say, Ameen, not just with your words, but with your intention. Let it be a dua from your heart to Allah, asking Him for strength, guidance, and peace through every storm you face. And if you feel this message might bring comfort to someone else, share it with them. Sometimes a single Ameen can be the beginning of relief.